Earth 2087. Humanity had reached for the stars for centuries, but today the stars reached back. The massive alien vessel appeared silently in orbit, its sleek silver hull reflecting Earth's sunlight as global defense systems scrambled in response. Captain William Carter stood rigid on the deck of the U.S. Intrepid, his weathered face betraying none of the anxiety churning inside him. The communication screens flickered to life, revealing a humanoid figure with iridescent blue skin and large almond-shaped eyes. People of Earth, I am Ambassador Zelforin of the Araxian Collective, representative of the Galactic Council. We come in peace and with an invitation. Within hours, Earth's leaders assembled an emergency diplomatic team. Lisa Murray, Earth's most accomplished diplomat, was immediately called from her position at the United Nations. She arrived at the newly established contact zone in Geneva with very little sleep but sharp focus. "They're offering us everything," she whispered to Carter as they awaited the first face-to-face meeting. "Advanced medical technology, clean energy solutions, faster than light travel." Carter nodded but kept his expression neutral. "Seems too good to be true." The meeting chamber doors slid open. Ambassador Zelforin glided in, flanked by two other aliens of different species. One resembled a tall, slender insect with multiple limbs, while the other had rough, stone-like skin and deep-set eyes. "Welcome," Zelforin said, voice melodious and calming. "Today marks the beginning of Earth's ascension into the galactic community." Over the next week, diplomatic talks progressed rapidly. The Council representatives shared limited technical information and promised mentorship for humanity's safe integration into the wider galaxy. They proposed establishing an embassy complex in multiple Earth locations to facilitate cultural exchange. Carter noticed small inconsistencies in the aliens' behavior. They freely discussed cultural matters, but became evasive when humans asked about military capabilities or the location of other developing civilizations. Unknown to the human delegation, a very different conversation was occurring aboard the Araxian vessel in orbit. "The humans show concerning patterns," stated Council Overseer Drac, his stone-like face impossible to read. "Their historical development rate exceeds safety parameters. They advanced from primitive flight to rudimentary space travel in less than a century. Their aggression metrics are troubling," added Civ, the insectoid analyst. "They unite effectively when faced with external threats. The containment protocol is recommended." Zelforin nodded slowly. "Agreed. We will proceed with standard procedure. Restricted technology sharing, monitored development, and subtle resource limitations." "Should we consider the neutralization option?" asked Drac. "Not yet," Zelforin replied. "Humans show potential as a client species if properly guided. Their creativity could serve the Council if properly channeled." Back on Earth, Lisa Murray signed the preliminary friendship accord with the Galactic Council. News outlets worldwide celebrated humanity's official welcome into the galactic community. Markets soared on promises of alien technology. Only Carter maintained his reservations. During the embassy construction, he noticed strange devices being integrated into the foundations. When he questioned a council engineer, he received vague assurances about communication equipment. 2 days later, Carter accessed the partially constructed embassy late at night. Using specialized scanning equipment, he discovered energy patterns inconsistent with the blueprints provided to Earth authorities. The devices formed a network covering a 5-mile radius. As he recorded his findings, Carter heard movement. He slipped into the shadows as Zelforin and Drac entered the chamber. "The monitoring network is functioning within parameters," Drac reported. "Once completed, we will have full surveillance capability across their major population centers." "Excellent," Zelforin replied. "The humans suspect nothing. By the time they realize the extent of our containment measures, it will be too late for them to resist. The Council has dealt with potentially dangerous species before." Carter froze in the darkness, recording everything. Humanity's first contact wasn't an invitation to the stars. It was the beginning of a carefully orchestrated cage. The discovery, 15 years had passed since the Galactic Council established its presence on Earth. Humanity had received some technological advances, but progress seemed oddly limited. Many scientists noticed how Council advisors steered research away from certain areas, particularly advanced propulsion and weapons development. Dr. Nathan Wells worked at the North American Science Division, where he specialized in energy pattern analysis. Late one night, he noticed unusual energy fluctuations coming from a Council embassy building nearby. These patterns didn't match any known human or Council technology he'd been allowed to study. Nathan couldn't shake the feeling something was wrong. The pattern suggested a transmission network far more powerful than anything the Council had disclosed to humanity. He needed help but couldn't risk alerting the Council. "Olivia, I need to show you something," Nathan said quietly when he found Dr. Olivia Ramirez alone in the lab the next day. But not here. Olivia had been his colleague for 8 years. If anyone would believe him, she would. Later that evening, they met at Nathan's apartment, where he had set up private scanning equipment. "These energy signatures are broadcasting constantly," Nathan explained, showing her the data. "But they're not on any frequency the Council told us about." Olivia studied the patterns, her expression growing concerned. "This looks like some kind of monitoring system, far more extensive than anything they admitted to installing. For weeks, they conducted their investigation in secret. They built a device that could intercept Council communications by piggybacking on these hidden frequencies. The information they discovered was devastating. They've been limiting us deliberately," Olivia whispered as she decoded another transmission. "Look at this. They've sabotaged 3 different research projects that were getting close to faster-than-light travel breakthroughs." Nathan nodded grimly. "And they've been restricting our mining operations in the asteroid belt. Every time we try to expand, mysterious safety concerns appear. The deeper they dug, the worse it got. Secret Council directives revealed humanity was classified as a Level 4 containment priority, a species deemed too unpredictable and potentially dangerous to allow free access to the galaxy." "We're not the only ones," Nathan said, reading through more decoded files. "At least 7 other species have been contained in their home systems, some for centuries. Their breakthrough came when they accessed a restricted Council database. The file showed the complete human containment protocol, a multi-century plan to keep humanity confined to the solar system while extracting useful innovations and resources. We need to tell someone, Olivia insisted. Someone with authority who can do something about this. Just as they prepared to download the final evidence, alarms blared through Nathan's apartment. Council security had detected their intrusion. We need to go. Now. Nathan grabbed their data storage device and emergency bag. They barely escaped through the back exit as Council security forces converged on the building. 3 Council ships hovered overhead, their searchlights cutting through the night. Where do we go? Olivia asked as they drove away, taking random turns to avoid pursuit. I know someone, Nathan replied, thinking of the one person who might believe them, Captain William Carter. He retired years ago, but he never fully trusted the Council. He's been watching them all this time. As they drove toward the countryside, where Carter had his secluded home, Council announcements flooded the media channels. Attention, citizens. 2 dangerous terrorists have stolen sensitive diplomatic information. Dr. Nathan Wells and Dr. Olivia Ramirez are to be reported immediately if spotted. They threaten the peaceful relationship between humanity and the Galactic Council. The deception was now working against them. With evidence in hand but branded as criminals, they would need to convince Captain Carter quickly. The fate of humanity's freedom now rested in their hands. Captain William Carter's home sat hidden among pine trees, far from the city. Security systems monitored every approach, relics of a man who never stopped being vigilant. When Nathan and Olivia arrived, Carter was already waiting on the porch, rifle in hand. I've been expecting someone like you for years, Carter said after they explained their situation. His weathered face showed no surprise at their revelations. I've had my suspicions since day one. Inside, Carter's basement revealed a command center filled with equipment tracking Council activities. For 15 years, he had been gathering his own evidence, building his case in silence. "I have people I trust," Carter said, picking up a secure communication device. "People who never fully bought the Council's story." Within 2 days, a small team assembled at Carter's home. Jack Donovan arrived first, a brilliant engineer who had worked on spacecraft design before the Council redirected his project. Samantha Pierce came next, formerly with military intelligence before the Council insisted Earth's armed forces be restructured for peacetime. "The Council has done this before," Samantha explained as they reviewed the stolen files. "Look at the pattern. They identify species with rapid technological growth and adaptability. Then they either domesticate them through false friendship or eliminate them if they resist." Jack studied the technical specifications of the Council's monitoring network. "They've built listening posts throughout our solar system. That explains why our deep space missions keep having technical failures." Reports of missing ships near the edge of the solar system suddenly made sense. The Council wasn't just containing humanity. They were actively preventing any attempts to break free. "We need more evidence," Carter decided. "Something irrefutable we can take to world leaders." Their plan was dangerous but necessary. Using technology Jack had secretly developed by reverse engineering Council components, they created devices that could mask their presence from Council sensors. The target: the main Council embassy. 3 days later, under cover of darkness, Carter and Samantha infiltrated the embassy while Jack, Nathan, and Olivia monitored from a van nearby. Using access codes Samantha had gathered from her intelligence contacts, they reached the embassy's secure data center. "We don't have much time," Carter whispered as Samantha connected their devices to the main Council database. What they found exceeded their worst fears. The Council had labeled humans as dangerously adaptive and unpredictably creative. Council reports highlighted humanity's rapid problem-solving abilities as a threat to galactic stability. Most disturbing were plans for more aggressive containment. As humans approached certain technological benchmarks, the Council planned to induce global conflicts or create environmental disasters to set human development back by decades. "Download everything," Carter ordered. Just as they finished copying the files, a Council security officer entered the room. Carter and Samantha froze as the tall, reptilian being paused, sensing something amiss. "Someone's been in the system," the officer said, activating his communicator. Carter had no choice. He emerged from hiding and stunned the officer with a modified weapon Jack had created. The alarm would sound soon. "We've got what we came for," Carter said. "Let's move." Their escape was narrow. Council security ships launched just as they reached their vehicle. Jack activated a device that scrambled the Council's tracking systems long enough for them to disappear into the night. Back at Carter's home, the team reviewed their findings with grim determination. "They've been planning our subjugation from the beginning," Olivia said, her voice tight with anger. Carter nodded. "Now we have proof, but we need more than evidence. We need a plan. The Council controls our communications, monitors our leaders, and has technologies we can't match in open conflict." "Maybe not yet," Jack said thoughtfully. "But if we work in secret, using what we know about their systems, we fight back," Carter finished. "Not just for us, but for every species they've enslaved through deception." The small group looked at each other, united in purpose. The battle for humanity's future had begun. Human countermeasures. Carter's team needed to grow. Carefully, they reached out to trusted contacts in military, scientific, and government positions. Each new member was vetted extensively before being shown the evidence. A hidden network formed, communicating through methods the Council couldn't detect. Admiral Helen Rodriguez, who commanded Earth's Space Defense Fleet, was their most valuable ally. She had questioned the Council's defense recommendations for years. "The Council has deliberately kept our ships underpowered and limited in range," Rodriguez confirmed after reviewing their findings. "I've lost good people trying to explore beyond the boundaries they set for us." In abandoned mining facilities beneath the lunar surface, Far from Council sensors, humans began their secret work. Jack Donovan led the engineering teams, adapting and improving technologies the Council had never intended humans to understand. Dr. Olivia Ramirez made the crucial discovery. For 3 weeks straight, she analyzed the Council's communication patterns until she found their weakness. They rely entirely on quantum entanglement for instantaneous communication across the galaxy, she explained to the gathered leaders. But their system has a fundamental flaw. They never expected anyone to detect the carrier wave that initializes each quantum pair. This breakthrough allowed humans to not only monitor Council communications, but occasionally insert false information. Small bits of misinformation kept the Council believing their containment protocols remained effective. Meanwhile, Jack's teams worked on technologies the Council had specifically prevented humans from developing. They reverse-engineered Council ships that had been decommissioned and supposedly destroyed. Their power systems are remarkable, Jack told Carter one night, standing in front of a partially disassembled alien engine. But they're also inefficient. We can do better. And they did. Human ingenuity, freed from Council restrictions, flourished. Within months, they developed shield systems more advanced than anything the Council possessed. Their weapons systems, though limited in number, could penetrate Council defenses. Most importantly, they created ships with stealth capabilities that made them invisible to Council detection. These ships began carrying human operatives to Council outposts throughout the solar system, gathering more intelligence and technology. The Council remained oblivious. Their reports to the Galactic authorities continued to classify humans as successfully contained and developing along approved pathways. Occasional Council inspections found only what humans wanted them to see: apparent compliance and appropriate technological development. Nathan Wells led a team focusing on the greatest prize: faster-than-light travel. The Council had carefully prevented humans from achieving this capability, the true key to galactic freedom. The Council's FTL drives use a dimension-folding technique, Nathan explained to his team. But our calculations suggest a different approach could be more efficient. They worked in shifts, hidden in the lunar facility. 6 months of intensive research led to their breakthrough. The first human-designed FTL engine was smaller, faster, and more energy-efficient than Council technology. They never expected this, Olivia said, watching the first successful test. They'd been holding other species back for so long, they can't imagine being surpassed. Carter nodded. The Council believes technological superiority is their right. That's their fundamental weakness. The first human FTL-capable ship, disguised as a routine supply vessel, slipped past Council patrols and jumped beyond the solar system. It returned 3 days later with maps of nearby star systems and confirmation. The Council had indeed placed monitoring stations around Sol, creating an invisible cage. We could destroy those stations now, Admiral Rodriguez suggested. Not yet, Carter replied. The moment we show our hand, the Council will respond with overwhelming force. We need more ships, more weapons, more allies. The lunar facility expanded. Hidden shipyards in asteroid fields began producing vessels designed for one purpose: breaking the Council's hold on humanity. How long until we're ready? Olivia asked as they watched another stealth ship depart. Carter's expression was resolute. 6 more months. Then we don't just break free. We take the fight to them. The countdown to humanity's rebellion had begun. The ultimatum preparation. Asteroid belt, solar system. Hidden within the largest cluster of space rocks between Mars and Jupiter, humanity's secret fleet grew. Massive shipyards carved into hollowed-out asteroids produced vessels unlike anything Earth had officially developed. Each ship incorporated the best of human innovation and adapted Council technology. Commander Eric Rhodes supervised combat training, his voice echoing through the simulator chamber as pilots practiced maneuvers that would be impossible with Council-approved engines. Again, Rhodes ordered as a simulation ended. The Council ships rely on predictable attack patterns. Their pilots haven't fought a real war in centuries. We need to be unpredictable. The pilots, drawn from Earth's best, trained relentlessly. They learned to exploit weaknesses in Council ship designs that the aliens didn't know existed. Back on Earth, Council representatives noticed a gradual decrease in human communications. Regular updates from research facilities became shorter, less detailed. Council Ambassador Kelvoran, who had replaced Zelforan years earlier, called an emergency meeting. Human cooperation levels have decreased 12% in the past quarter, the ambassador informed his staff. Their leaders are becoming increasingly difficult to influence. Perhaps it's time for a demonstration of authority, suggested his security chief. We could arrange an industrial accident at one of their larger facilities. The ambassador nodded. Begin preparations. Also, increase surveillance on their military installations. The Council remained unaware that their surveillance was now being carefully fed false information. When Council investigators arrived at Earth facilities, they found everything in order, because human agents knew exactly when they were coming and what they would be looking for. Meanwhile, Lisa Murray, now a senior diplomat, traveled between Earth governments, bringing key leaders into the resistance. Her diplomatic skills had only sharpened with time. The Council believes us divided by national interests, she told a secret gathering of world leaders. That's our advantage. While they watch our official channels, our real communications remain hidden. The fleet continued to grow, using FTL capabilities unknown to the Council. Human ships ventured to nearby star systems, establishing hidden bases and supply depots. Each successful mission expanded humanity's hidden sphere of influence. At the Lunar Command Center, Carter and his team finalized their most ambitious plan, simultaneously positioning fleet elements at key points throughout Council space. We've confirmed the locations of 18 major Council worlds, Samantha Pierce reported, highlighting stars on the galactic map. Our stealth ships have mapped their defense systems. Jack Donovan pointed to the engineering readouts. Every ship is equipped with our new shield technology. Council weapons will be largely ineffective against them. Meanwhile, Nathan and Olivia made perhaps their most critical discovery. During their exploration of nearby systems, they found evidence of other repressed species, civilizations the Council had contained just as they had attempted with humanity. This one, Olivia pointed to a star system on their chart, shows signs of a civilization that's technologically advanced but hasn't expanded beyond their home planet. Nathan nodded. And look at these energy readings. They're being monitored by the same type of Council technology used on Earth. Carter immediately understood the significance. We need to make contact. These species could become allies. Using their stealth ships, humans established communication with 3 different contained species. Each had similar stories. Initial Council contact, promises of advancement, followed by centuries of subtle control and limitation. Lisa Murray drafted the ultimatum that would be delivered to the Galactic Council. Every word was carefully chosen, the message simple but powerful. As the day of action approached, Carter addressed the fleet commanders from the bridge of the flagship Defiance. For 15 years, the Council has deceived us, contained us, and planned our permanent subjugation, he said, his voice carrying to every ship in the hidden fleet. Tomorrow, we show them that humanity will not be caged. The fleet commanders nodded solemnly. Final preparations were complete. Ships moved into position, ready to emerge simultaneously across Council space. The message was prepared for broadcast on all frequencies. Humanity was about to announce itself to the galaxy, not as a client species, but as a force to be reckoned with. The warning delivered. The Galactic Council's Grand Chamber buzzed with activity. Representatives from 200 species discussed trade agreements, territorial disputes, and the ongoing management of developing civilizations. None noticed the slight power fluctuation in the Chamber's communication systems. On the Council's capital world of Axoria Prime, High Counselor Dravmore addressed the assembled delegates. The containment protocols for System 3721, designation Earth, continue to function as designed. The human species remains unaware of our true purpose and His words died as the chamber's massive viewing screens flickered. Council security officers rushed to consoles as every display in the chamber suddenly showed the same image. A human in a naval uniform standing on the bridge of an unfamiliar ship. "Greetings, Galactic Council. I am Captain William Carter of Earth." Across Council space, on 18 major worlds simultaneously, the same scene played out. Council communication networks have been hijacked. Every view screen, public display, and personal device showed Carter's face. "For 15 years, you have deceived humanity. You came to us with promises of friendship while planning our permanent containment. You have sabotaged our progress, monitored our communications, and prevented our rightful expansion into the stars." In orbit around each Council world, human ships suddenly appeared as their stealth systems deactivated. The vessels were larger, more advanced than anything the Council believed humans capable of building. On Axoria Prime, Councillor Dravmore turned to his security chief in shock. "How is this possible? How did they bypass our defenses?" The security chief stared at sensor readings in disbelief. "Sir, we're detecting 112 vessels in orbit. They weren't there a moment ago." Carter continued, his message broadcasting across thousands of worlds. "Today, humanity issues its first and final warning to the Galactic Council. Your deception ends now. Your containment of developing species ends now." Council defense forces scrambled to respond. On each world, defense grid operators activated weapons systems targeting the human ships. "We are aware you are activating your defenses," Carter said calmly. "I suggest you reconsider." With precise coordination, the human fleet fired. But instead of destruction, each shot disabled key nodes in the planetary defense networks. Council weapons systems went offline worldwide in seconds. "We could have destroyed your defenses completely," Carter explained. "Instead, we chose to demonstrate our capabilities without casualties. This is not an act of war, but a demand for justice." In the Council chamber, chaos erupted. Species representatives shouted questions and accusations at Council leadership. Many were learning for the first time about the containment protocols affecting numerous worlds. "The Galactic Council has existed for millennia on a foundation of lies," Carter continued. "You have suppressed developing species not out of concern for galactic stability, but to maintain your own power. We have contacted other contained civilizations. They now know the truth as well." On the screens, the view widened to show representatives from 3 other species standing alongside Carter. Species the Council had kept contained for centuries. "Our demands are simple. Dismantle the containment protocols. Return freedom to all suppressed species. Transform the Council into a true cooperative of equals or face the consequences." Councillor Dravmore finally found his voice. "This is absurd. You cannot threaten the Council. You are one primitive species against the most powerful civilization in the galaxy." Carter smiled slightly. "Look to your skies, Councillor. Examine your disabled defense systems. Consider how we bypassed your most sophisticated detection networks. We are no longer the primitive species you found 15 years ago." To the non-Council worlds and contained species watching the broadcast, Carter delivered a different message. "To those who have suffered under Council deception, the truth is revealed. You have a choice now. Flee their influence. Join us in building something better." The human fleet remained in position, weapons ready but not firing. The Council's initial attempts to counterattack failed as they discovered their most advanced ships couldn't penetrate the human vessel's shields. "You have 48 hours to begin dismantling the containment protocols," Carter stated. "We will know if you are complying. We will also know if you attempt deception again." The transmission ended, leaving stunned silence across Council space. The balance of power that had stood for millennia had shifted in a single day. Humanity had issued its warning. Now the galaxy waited to see how the Council would respond. New Galactic Order. The 48 hours after humanity's ultimatum passed in tense silence. On Council worlds, citizens demanded answers from leaders who had hidden the truth for centuries. Many species began questioning everything they had been told about galactic history. The Council's initial response was predictable. They attempted a military solution. A fleet of their most advanced warships converged on Earth, expecting to find humanity's homeworld vulnerable while their ships were deployed elsewhere. Instead, they found a secondary human fleet waiting in ambush. The battle lasted less than an hour. Human weapons and shields proved superior to Council technology, the result of innovation freed from Council restrictions. "Surrender your vessels," Commander Rhodes broadcast to the defeated Council ships. "You will not be harmed." Across the galaxy, the news spread quickly. The supposedly invincible Council forces had been decisively defeated by a species they had attempted to contain. The psychological impact was immediate. 7 major Council species announced their withdrawal from the Alliance within days. These were civilizations that had long suspected the Council's true nature, but feared standing alone against its power. With humanity demonstrating that the Council could be defeated, they seized their chance for independence. Carter and Lisa Murray met with representatives of these defecting worlds aboard the Defiance. Murray's diplomatic skills proved crucial as a new alliance began to form. "We seek partnership, not dominance," Murray explained to the gathered delegates. "Each species must be free to develop according to their own nature, without manipulation or control." The Council leadership, desperate to maintain power, sent a message of apparent surrender. They agreed to dismantle the containment protocols and restructure the Council with equal representation for all species. "They're lying," Samantha Pierce warned after analyzing the communication. "Our intelligence shows they're evacuating their main research facility on Proxima Centauri II. That's where they've been developing their superweapon." Carter had anticipated this final deception. While appearing to negotiate terms, he dispatched a specialized team to infiltrate the facility. Led by Nathan and Jack, they discovered a planet-killing weapon capable of destroying entire worlds from a distance. "This was their contingency plan all along," Nathan reported. "If a contained species ever broke free, they would simply eliminate their homeworld as a warning to others." The human team disabled the weapon and transmitted proof of its existence to all worlds. The remaining Council support collapsed overnight. The final Council leaders were arrested by their own security forces. 3 months after humanity's ultimatum, representatives from over 50 formerly contained or subjugated species gathered on Earth. The Galactic Cooperative was born, an alliance built on principles of autonomy, mutual defense, and genuine cooperation. Olivia Ramirez led the scientific exchange program, where species shared knowledge without restriction. "The Council feared our combined potential," she told the first gathering of scientists from 20 different worlds. "They were right to be afraid, not because we're dangerous, but because together we can achieve wonders they never imagined." The former Council species, those who had been manipulated into supporting the deception, were not punished. Instead, they were welcomed into the new order as equals, their expertise and technology now serving all species. Carter stood at the observation window of the new cooperative headquarters, watching ships from dozens of worlds come and go freely. "Was it worth it?" Lisa Murray asked, joining him at the window. Carter nodded. "Look out there. Species that have been isolated for centuries are now exploring the stars. Knowledge flows freely between worlds. That's worth everything we risked." On the newly established Exploration Command deck, Nathan and Olivia prepared to lead the first multi-species expedition beyond the borders of known space. "The galaxy just got a lot bigger," Nathan said, studying the star charts showing unexplored regions. Olivia smiled. "And a lot friendlier." The final entry in Captain Carter's personal log summed up humanity's journey. "The Council feared us because they saw in humans a reflection of what they once were: curious, adaptive, and determined. They forgot that true strength comes not from control, but from cooperation. They tried to cage a species that had spent its entire history breaking barriers. Their deception became their downfall. Now, instead of being contained, humanity helps ensure no species will ever be imprisoned again." The The stars belong to all of us now. Epilogue. 10 years later. 10 years had passed since the formation of the Galactic Cooperative. The former Council headquarters on Axoria Prime had been transformed into a vast library of knowledge, open to all species. Ships from hundreds of worlds came and went freely, a constant flow of ideas and cultures that would have horrified the old Council. Carter, now Admiral Carter, walked slowly through the memorial garden outside the library. Stone monuments honored those who had died during the Council's long reign, the explorers who vanished when they discovered too much, the scientists whose accidents happened after breakthrough discoveries, the species who resisted and were eliminated. "I thought I'd find you here," Lisa Murray said, joining him by a fountain. Her diplomatic uniform now bore the insignia of the Cooperative's High Ambassador. "The Trilaxian delegation is waiting for us." Carter nodded, just taking a moment to remember why we did all this. The Trilaxians were the newest species to join the Cooperative. They had developed faster than light travel independently, hidden from the old Council's monitoring systems by their planet's unusual radiation belt. When they emerged into space, they found not the oppressive Council but the welcoming Cooperative. In the decades since the Council's fall, Nathan Wells and Olivia Ramirez had led the Cooperative's scientific renaissance. Their combined research division had made breakthroughs in medicine, energy production, and space travel that benefited all member worlds. Nathan sent a message from the frontier, Lisa told Carter as they walked toward the meeting hall. The expedition discovered another contained species in the Cygnus Arm. Apparently, the Council had them completely isolated for over 600 years. Carter shook his head. "How many more will we find?" "As many as it takes," Lisa replied firmly. "We'll free them all." The meeting with the Trilaxian delegation went smoothly. Their leader, a tall being with crystalline features, expressed wonder at the cooperative structure. "In our history, when species meet, one always dominates," the Trilaxian said. "Your system of equality seems unnatural, yet beautiful." "It didn't come naturally to us either," Carter admitted. "We had to learn it the hard way." Later that evening, a special ceremony marked the 10th anniversary of the Cooperative's founding. Representatives from over 300 species gathered in the Great Hall. Jack Donovan, now chief engineer of the Cooperative Fleet, unveiled his newest creation, an interstellar beacon network that would allow instant communication across the galaxy. "The old Council kept us divided and silent," Jack explained to the assembly. "This network connects us all, without central control or monitoring. No species will ever be isolated again." After the ceremony, Carter received an urgent message from Samantha Pierce, who now led the Cooperative's intelligence division. He found her in a secure communication room. "We've confirmed rumors about former Council loyalists," she explained, showing him data on a hidden display. "They've established a base in the Outer Rim. They're calling themselves the True Council and attempting to rebuild their power structure." Carter studied the information thoughtfully. "Are they a threat?" "Not militarily," Samantha replied. "But they're spreading the old ideology that some species are naturally superior and should guide the rest. They've attracted followers among those who benefited from the old system." Carter remembered the Council's fundamental error, the belief that power came from control rather than cooperation. "Monitor them, but don't interfere unless they threaten another species. Ideas can't be defeated with weapons." As the Axorian sun set, Carter stood on the observation deck watching ships depart for distant worlds. Among them was a vessel commanded by Commander Rhodes, now leading a diplomatic mission to a newly discovered civilization. A young human ensign approached nervously. "Admiral, is it true you were there when it all began? When humans first broke free?" Carter smiled. "We all were in a way. Freedom isn't won by a few people in a moment. It's won by many people making small choices every day." The ensign looked confused, so Carter continued more directly. "The Council's greatest deception wasn't their technology or their weapons. It was convincing everyone that resistance was impossible. Once we stopped believing that lie, everything changed." As stars appeared in the darkening sky, Carter thought about how far they had come. The Council had feared human potential. Now that potential, combined with hundreds of other species, was creating a galaxy brighter than anyone had imagined possible.